It's a beautiful day. I'm feeling like I'm about 75 years old. Yesterday I went for, I think it was a 13-mile bike ride. A pretty good pace, and it felt great during and after. Today I'm feeling a bit stiff, but that's really kind of goes with being 68, I guess. And so, of course, I got up doom scrolling on YouTube, and I see there are more people that are having commentary about EBT benefits stopping, and it runs across the board. And I'm absolutely certain that many of these video makers, vloggers, they're making fake videos so that they can try to instill rage in people. They're called hate videos, I think. They're talking about they're taking away my EBT and because I'm driving a new Mercedes or whatever. A lot of it's BS, but some of it isn't BS. And I have to wonder what side of the fence people are on. Do you care that people are going to lose their EBT benefits? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It just kind of depends. It's certain that there are people who are in desperate need and will be on the dole for the rest of their lives because they are in desperate need. They've got medical problems that doesn't allow them to work. They've got issues. If we don't help them as a community, their problems are going to be exacerbated by lack of nutrition, lack of food, and along with EBT comes Medicaid, and if they don't have medical care, then they're going to die. Do you care? Some do, some don't. Sometimes I don't. I'm going to tell you my own personal story. I had a woman who, other than neuroses, had no physical maladies that prevented her from working. And in fact, she did work as a bartender, as non-professional employment. She had a son. Most of her life she spent living with other people that she didn't get along with, which is virtually everyone. She wound up getting into conflict with whoever she lived with. During the time that I knew her, she was on Medicaid for sure, and the son was on Medicaid for sure. And I got roped into taking her and the boy in. That's my fault, not hers. Her and her sister planned it. And so now they had a roof over their head that they didn't have to pay for, and phones they didn't have to pay for, and food they didn't have to pay for, and nothing else they had to pay for. That's my fault. And she was on Medicaid for a good portion of it. Sometimes I had her on my insurance, but we weren't married, so that wasn't always a given. The thing about it is as the boy got a little bit older, he said something to me one time that poor people's insurance is pretty good. It was something that he preferred. What that says is that this poverty, this getting on Medicaid and getting on food stamps and the rest of it is generational. It's called benefits, but really, why is it called a benefit? It's a charity that you get. And some people are just milking the system. If they were forced to work, they would work. If they weren't going to eat, they wouldn't eat. I don't know. There's clearly a generational component to all this, that people that have been on the dole for most or all of their lives are going to teach their children to be on the dole for the rest of their lives. And when you call it a benefit, they might as well call it an entitlement, because that's what it's become. I don't know what the right answer is, except maybe that it become a short-term entitlement. Maybe for 2 years, and then if it needs to go longer, then just like with disability, you have to provide evidence that you are unable to contribute to society. And what this also means is, of course, that if you're not putting in employment that goes to Social Security when you turn 62, 63, 65, whatever, you of course aren't going to have benefits that are going to sustain you in your senior years. What do you do then? So back when I was a private investigator and thought I could make a difference in the world, I discovered there were plenty of people out there that were completely happy to let me solve their problems for them. And that just doesn't work. They learn nothing from it. They don't have any skin in the game. And so I developed an attitude for business and life that goes thusly: I can't care more about your shit than you do. People that are in desperate circumstances sometimes put themselves there, or it's generational. They're not going to learn anything from it. Bailing them out isn't going to really do anything for them in the long term. Short term, maybe. Long term, no. What do? This next clip here is from a gentleman. I enjoy his stuff very much. I'm going to put his profile up and then the clip will follow right in there. Take a look at it.
It's definitely cut the fuck off for November. Y'all better stay the fuck out of my way in these stores. I'm walking out with carts and I'm not paying for shit. Trump, if you want start looting, it's gonna happen. Before my kids go broke like Jock, I'm gonna be stealing like it ain't no tomorrow. I am going to go in that store, get everything I get regularly. I'm going to bag my shit up, swipe my link card, as soon as that ain't no pending balance on there, I'm going to walk the out. And I'm going to have one of my cousins with me that'll punch your so hard you going to think a Jet 2 holiday hit your if you think I ain't finna walk out that stuff. And please follow me to that motherfucking car. If you feeling motherfucking foggy, you ain't going to make it back to your motherfucking position at that Walmart store. I'm telling you. You want to take some link? Like, I don't be taking already. Watch this. It's okay.
It's this new movement online amongst ghetto people that are basically saying that they're going to take to Walmart because, for those of you that may not know, Walmart is actually the largest grocer inside of the United States of America, in which they sell about 25% of all groceries.
And so, as you saw from that video, the young woman was suggesting that if she doesn't have any EBT benefits when she goes into Walmart, she's going to steal and commit violence on anyone that tries to stop her. That really doesn't come as a surprise. As you'll see from the next clip, that sort of entitlement already exists.
And robberies are often caught on camera, and you can see just how coordinated and quick they are. Dozens of people run into a store and steal items en masse, and that's exactly what happened inside this Nike store at a South LA mall. Take a look. The call came in just before 6 o'clock Sunday night. There were about 20 juveniles who ran into the store with bags, and they took as much merchandise as they could get and then ran out. There was no harm or threat.
So I want you to watch this next clip from Jordan Peterson, who suggests that IQ plays a great deal in wealth and poverty. He has several other videos out there that would suggest that lower IQ prevents you from getting particular jobs. He does discuss the military, etc. My question is, does it mean that there's absolutely no hope for folks who aren't able to have cognitive enough abilities to go to work doing something somewhere, or are they always going to be on the dole? There is an interesting British program out there where they took several families and gave them 1 year's worth of benefits. to see if they would be able to do something with those benefits. I think it was around 26,000 pounds. And of course, they all failed. All of them failed. They tried to do various businesses like reselling of clothes, all sorts of different things, but they all failed. And of course, people that don't understand money or have an education aren't going to be able to utilize the tools that it takes to become a productive citizen, I guess. Anyway, watch this video, see what you think.
People don't like the idea of IQ because it seems so arbitrary. You have a high IQ. Well, it's not like you deserve it exactly. You're set up that way pretty much right from the beginning. It's very, 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 very stable. You can make a high IQ person stupider by, not educating them up to the level of their possibility, but taking someone who has a low IQ and trying to raise that, it's like, if you can figure out how to do that, well, it's Nobel Prize time for you, because people have tried that a lot, and most recently with those, lumosity games and that sort of thing, and the evidence that those produce anything other than brilliant performances on the lumosity game itself is basically zero. We haven't been able to figure out how to see, because intelligence is a cross-domain phenomena, and you can get really good in a single domain by practicing like mad, and what you'd want is to practice like mad in a single domain and hope that it generalized to other domains. That's the holy grail of intelligence increase. It's like, no one's done it. People claim it, but the claims never hold up, and people have been trying for a long time to do it, and they haven't been able to do it. And differences in IQ really make a difference. You guys, average IQ is probably 125, 130. At 115, you're at the 85th percentile. And 115 would barely get you going for a hard university. 130, you're probably graduate school material. 145, you're up there at the range where you can probably do pretty much whatever you want, although as you get smarter, the scatter between your abilities increases, so you might have a very high verbal IQ but not be so good at mathematics, or the other way around. But it's a massive contributor to lifetime success, and I don't know what to do about that. I mean, why do smart people make more money? Well, they get to where the edge of production is faster. So if you have 1,000 people and you rank order them by IQ, the smart people are going to come up with the new ideas first, and they're going to have more ideas, and they're going to strategize better. And with an IQ of 90, which is 15% of the population, you think about that, it's 15% of the population. That's pretty much the threshold for reading instructions and being able to follow them. So, and our society is increasingly sophisticated, so it's by no means obvious. The liberals think, well, this society is unfair because there's unemployment, and the conservatives think, well, there's a job for everyone, but none of them think, well, there are massive, massive, massive differences in people's ability, far greater than anyone realizes, and that poses a structural problem.
And so in conclusion, I guess my question is, are we expecting too much from these folks who are generationally poor, who have an unrealistic expectation of entitlement? Well, maybe it's not unrealistic because they've been getting it. Are we just to the point where they have to be cut off because it's benefits tax-paying citizens to not have to pay into that dole, and force these people to do something, anything, even if it's just up to the level of their abilities or inabilities?